Hey everyone, Pedro here with Cinemilled. Really excited to be here with you today. Talk about our newest Tilta Gravity product. Now, recently the Tilta Gravity has come out and we have released the universal mount, so you can mount the Gravity on any number of different devices like a crane, a jib, car mounts, cable cams, tripod, I mean, you name it. So follow up to that is addressing the fact that this is essentially intended as a heavy-duty gimbal, which means there's a lot of features on it that were designed so that you can use with much bigger cameras. And I recently did a number of tests for all the Tilta community, so we can start getting an idea of what this gimbal is capable of. And you'll see a few photos, maybe a few clips here in a second. I managed to put an Alexa on here and it worked very well, a full-size Alexa with the zoom lens. I also put an Amira, a fully built red weapon with a big long zoom on it and a matte box, and so f/55 with a raw recorder and a battery and a zoom lens and a matte box, so it actually is capable of quite a lot of payload. It is actually rated at 33 pounds, like a lot of you know. But in my testing, one of the things that I quickly found out is, one of the features with the Tilta Gravity is it has a top, I call this a cradle, essentially a top section of the cage here. And once you have a really heavy camera on here, you quickly realize why they include that. So if you have a heavy camera and then you grab it, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of flex. So in practice, what that flex will translate to is possibly it'll create some vibration. So the top mount is absolutely crucial with the heavy builds in order to reduce any sort of unwanted vibration. And so one of the things you'll possibly run into, obviously with the taller cameras. So in my case, I encountered this with the Alexa, with the Amira. And so this can apply to other cameras, or maybe you have a cage around it that increases its height a little bit, and so you don't want to get rid of that cage because maybe you're going from studio mode back to the gimbal. In any case, if you do have a tall setup that actually is also very heavy, what happens is you have the lower part of the cradle adjusted all the way to the bottom, and then the camera is very tall, and then you quickly run out of adjustment room here on the top cradle. So here is our extension. This is it right here, and basically, very simply, it actually there's a protective cap on the top of this tube from the factory, and in a minute here I'll show you how to install these. It's very simple. But basically, you spin the cap off, and then it exposes some threads, and you simply just spin it on like you see me doing right here. Just thread it on right there, and boom. So now that that's on, I actually put the factory cap right back in on top here. It's not necessary, but might as well. It doesn't hurt, and ours is also internally threaded, so you can add that there. And now, as you can see, you can have a lot more height on the cradle. Now, other reason why this might be useful is it's really slow to adjust these bottom knobs. So if you happen to have the whole these knobs adjusted further down and the cradle higher, and then now you're going to put a bigger camera in there, you can actually just raise this up, leave these where they are, and utilize this extension. As you see, it still clears. Right, so it still gives you full clearance. So basically, this is an option that everybody might not need, but for a lot of people that are using this with a lot heavier payloads, it really comes in handy because it'll allow you to build the camera tall and still be able to grab it from the top. Once again, since the camera is heavy, that's when you really need the top support. And so the extensions allow you to do that with very tall cameras. So they're in stock. They're available now. You can order them right after you finish watching this video if you want. And so I'm going to quickly show you now a quick close-up of how to install these, and a couple things you want to watch out for and be careful when you actually it's just when you take the caps off. So let's get into that right now. Alright guys, let's look into installing the Cinemilled tilt arm extensions for the Tilta Gravity gimbal. And so the only thing you'll need for this install is a adjustable wrench, and that is because the top cap that we need to remove here in order to slide these in, we need to remove this top cap. So you may or may not be able to see in the video, there's a flat side on either side of the top cap. So really easily, let's grab our adjustable wrench and let's lay that very carefully. You can open the wrench up and then make sure to get it really snug on the flat sides. Now it's very important because you could very easily strip this, right? And then that becomes a real pain in the ass to get rid of. So we want to be very careful to adjust this wrench and make sure it's really tight. And then what we want to do is we want to hold the gimbal in place and then unscrew the cap. Now it's going to be a little bit tough to undo the cap at first because they put a little bit of grease. I don't know if they actually put Loctite on there, but it's going to resist you a little bit. And as long as you have adjusted your wrench properly, it's going to give you a little bit of resistance, and then it's actually going to get loose. You can, at that point, you can lose the wrench, and you'll be able to simply, let me use my other finger here, simply unscrew that cap. You'll see it start to rise up out of, so right there, see? So that's hollow and that's threaded in there, and there is the top cap. And so at this point, you could take the Cinemilled extension, take the top cap right there, and actually thread it on to the original top cap. And there you have it, nicely installed with the top cap on there. And so really simply just grab that and spin it on. There you go. There you have it, finished and installed. It just takes a few seconds. You can really easily remove it, and the top cap's not really necessary. You can just leave that in the case, or you can, once you take this off, you can put it back if you want. It is obviously nice so that nothing falls in there, but it's not necessary. And now of course you can go much higher with the top cradle. You can see there's the difference. So in any case, there is the finished installed tilt arm. Alright, if you have any questions, let us know, but it is a very straightforward install. Alright everyone, so I hope you got a good view on how to install those, and it's very easy. It goes on and off with a lot of ease, and just, you know, you can install them, you can take them off really quickly, not a big deal. So I hope that took the mystery out of it for you. And once again, they're in stock. Go to cinemilled.com and you'll find all your Tilta Gravity accessories there. We are working on a couple of other ones, as well as some really cool things that we're working here. Hopefully we can release in the next few months. But basically, stay tuned, follow us on Instagram, and you'll get all the latest updates and all the latest new tips and tricks, and we share a lot of great stuff on our Instagram feed, a lot of customer builds, so you can see what other people are doing with the products that we make, and might give you ideas on your future shoots. And I hope you enjoy our new product, and if you have any questions, you could always email me at sales@cinemilled.com. Or you could try calling us also, but email usually works really well as well. All right, thank you very much and have a good shoot.